Mary Musgrove. About 300 years ago, a girl named Kusaponakisa was born in the Creek village of Kuwita. Kuwita was near the present-day city of Macon, Georgia. Kusaponakisa, her mother was Creek. Some people in Kusaponakisa's family were important Creek leaders. In the 1670s, about 30 years before Kusaponakisa was born, people from England started a colony in present-day South Carolina. Many of these settlers traded with Creek in the area. Kusaponakisa's father was an English trader named Edward Griffin. He lived in what is now South Carolina. Creek life. As a young child, Kusaponakita lived in Coweta. Well, we call it Coweta, lazy kids, but it's Kuwita. Kuwita. Creek villages such as Kuwita were built around main squares where people held meetings and played games. In the summer, the Creek lived in houses without walls to stay cool. In the winter, they lived in warmer houses with walls of clay and wood. Both summer and winter houses had grass or bark roofs. In Creek villages, such as Kuwita, everyone helped grow or gathered food in large community gardens and in smaller family gardens. Creek women grew crops such as corn, beans, and squash. Corn was very important because it could be dried and stored to eat during the winter. Creek men hunted deer, turkey, rabbits, and other animals. They also caught catfish in nearby rivers. Creek girls and boys learned different skills. Women taught girls how to gather wild plants for food and medicine. Girls also learned to farm, cook, and sew clothing. Men taught boys to fish and hunt. Along with hunting deer for food, the Creek used deerskin for clothing. Deerskin was soft, warm, and did not tear easily. The Creek were interested in new things. They began making clothing that were like those worn by the English traders. They wove thread into fabric and dyed it bright colors. More Creek began to wear English ribbons and beads. Life with the English. When Kusapunakita was about 10, she went to live with her father's family. She moved to an English settlement near Charlestown, or present-day Charleston, South Carolina. Kusapunakisa learned the customs of the settlers and to speak English. English settlers gave Kusapunakisa an English name, Mary. In the settlement, Mary's family did not have a summer house or a winter house. English settlers lived in the same houses all year long. These houses were made of brick or wood. In Charlestown, Mary would have seen brick houses that lined the city streets. Many of these houses were 2 and 3 stories high. While living with the English settlers, Mary no longer wore soft deerskin dresses. Women in Charlestown dressed very differently from the Creek. Many women wore long dresses made out of velvet or silk. Some of them wore wigs. The men wore ruffle shirt and velvet jackets. These clothes were often hot and uncomfortable. Mary lived in an English settlement For about 5 years, she went to an English school. Like other children her age, she may have played games such as tag or marbles. When she was about 15 years old, Mary returned to her Creek family. She had learned English customs, but she still remembered the Creek way of life. Bringing people together. When she went back to Kuwita, Musgrove could speak both English and Creek. She began to help English settlers and Creek traders to speak to one another. Around 1722, Musgrove started her own trading post. At her trading post, the Creek traded their deerskin for English goods such as tools, cloth, and metal pots. Musgrove was a good businesswoman. Many people came to her trading post. She knew that her Creek and English customers wanted to trade. She also knew what they each needed in return. What Musgrove did not know was that her business and her way of life would soon change. In 1733, James Oglethorpe and a group of English settlers sailed up a river they named the Savannah. Oglethorpe planned to start a new English colony called Georgia. He wanted to be sure the Yamacraw Creek living nearby would let the English build a settlement. Oglethorpe asked Musgrove to help communicate with the Creek. Musgrove became Oglethorpe's interpreter. She helped him talk to and make friends with Tomokichi, the leader of the Yamacraw Creek. Musgrove spoke with Tomokichi, and he agreed to let Oglethorpe build the settlement of Savannah. The Creek and the English traded with each other. The Creek also showed the English how to grow crops. Savannah grew and became Georgia's first city. Oglethorpe continued to depend on Musgrove. Along with her helping Oglethorpe talk with Creek leaders, Musgrove worked to keep the peace between the Creek and the English settlers. Creek's support was important for the English settlers. When English and Spanish settlers in the area began to fight, Musgrove helped convince the Creek to join the English side. Musgrove started a trading post near Savannah. Many people came to trade there. By 1735, Musgrove was the richest woman in Georgia. She later became the largest landowner in the colony. However, today we remember Mary Musgrove most for the important work that she did in founding of Georgia. And that's it.